Tushin salane chipoe, Yaisule chalo chesu konsho kongaya. Amalanda no kuilishanya, upina no kuulilwa, tile pongo mokange fula, akulaya. Amatong kanyo ya lilembwa, Pathin Sofia bakalamba, imisepela abaichene fitekwa. Mwema kufi yandi winenuka, we mutima wandi nobe salapuka. Imwandashi nemi pashia kowela, teti fichimfye lesa wamweo, teti fichimfye lesa wamilalo. Imimana masabi fyabambwe, umufundo bonse wanyanta, imitinda mane mpanga umutata kuya. Amabwena yo minta pendwa, nababo mfili bumba, elo bunonshi wabaye, bamabebala. Infula kwenda ila loka, umutende twimba pofye pefye, elo tushala pofye nechi sungumukanwa. Mwema kufi yandi winenuka, we mutima wandi mnobe salapuka. Imwandashi nemi pashia kowela, teti fichimfye lesa wamweo, teti fichimfye lesa wamilalo. Ukupepa kwena tula pepa, no kufunga ni pamushi, amasambili lonayo nilekaleka. Ukuomba nako tulabomba, gabashana bakabalwe, uluchelo akasuba eliono bushiku. Usheni nkande ya fita, nangula mano ayachepa, na chuchuti kamwetata jebeniko. Mwema kufi yandi winenuka, we mutima wandi mnobe salapuka. Imwandashi nemi pashia kowela, teti fichimfye lesa wamweo, teti fichimfye lesa wamweo.
Well. Welcome to today's program. And we are so delighted that at this particular hour, we are going to be discussing a number of issues that pertains to the nation of Zambia and what is happening in the country of Zambia. Wherever you are, listen to me, share the broadcast, invite your friend. Those of you that are tuning in from different platforms, POD TV, and all those who are watching from Grindstone TV, we want to say welcome. We want to appreciate those of you that are on Smart Eagles. We want to appreciate each one of you. This is a great program, and those of you that are here with this program, which we are broadcasting live from Komboni Kumayadi. Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful program that we are having tonight. And this is a live program in which we are looking at what is happening in the nation of Zambia. Mwebena Zambia, wachena muipekanya, insta futi ya Afrika insta ilio tukalalanda insta ya kuvota ya palama. Una mwaka 2026, on the 13th of August, Zambia decides. Are we ready for the great move? Are we ready? Have we prepared ourselves? Are our mind prepared? Our voters' cards ready? And political parties are moving up and down. The ruling party is busy organizing itself. This time, we are coming, and we want you and I to stick in, as we have a great leader who is going to be sharing with us. A great leader who will be sharing with us. But before I dive deep tonight, and before we begin to deal with the nitty-gritties of elections, the nitty-gritties of where Zambia is, there is a number of issues that we are going to look at, and I will be introducing my co-host who is with me right now, and this is no other than Mr. Joseph Kapale, all the way from the United States of America, Atlanta. Hey, Mr. Daka, how are you doing? Well, you're still mute there. I think you need to unmute. All right.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. That's much better, Doctor. Thank you so much again for inviting me to be part of the host for this wonderful show where you get to talk to the grassroots. They used to call it the grassroots, but actually the correct name is Komboni. That's where the grassroots are. And of course, the rural, right? And I'm so glad here that I get to see the apostle, Dan Pule. I would love to say I used to watch him when I was in diapers, but it wasn't diapers, it was Matevera. And we grew up watching the apostle, and it's really a pleasure here to have him, and so he can help us explain and educate the citizens of Zambia. So I thank you, Doctor, and thank you, Apostle, and welcome to the show.
Well, we will get Dr. Dan Pule just coming in right now. I wish to check where I think his network has just dropped or something has just happened on his side, but he was with us in the studio. But before we maybe proceed with what is happening in Zambia, what are your thoughts? Let's begin by dealing with the issue that I will be communicating with us. Yes, I see Apostle. Okay, I think there is a problem with his signal. I'm not sure what's exactly. Okay, they need to connect their mic and camera before you can add them to the stream. All right, his microphone seems not to be on. I'm not sure. All right, he's gonna come in. He's gonna come in, definitely. He's gonna come in. Before we discuss the matters that are happening, there is the issues of the opposition and the issues of the Patriotic Front and all that. Let me play one video. All right, okay, I see. Now he must be in, and we are going to just do that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I was just about to welcome, this is no other than the Chief Apostle, Professor Dr. Dan Pule, the president of the Christian Democratic Party, and also the interim chairman or the chairperson of the Tonse Alliance. Mwebali kumakombo nyuko kwa kanyama kwa mandevu kumatero kuchaisa wonse wamene muli kuchipata kalikiliki, every one of you, ndawi yafika tenti baite bayasu. Let's call everybody, let's tell everyone that Professor Dr. Pule is live and he will be dealing with matters that affect the nation today. Let me welcome our great legend and leader, Dr. Pule. Professor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for having me. Good evening, dear listeners and viewers. God bless you all.
Thank you so very much, Apostle Professor Dr. Pule. I am joined with my co-host, who is Mr. Daka. And Mr. Daka has a very great story that he was telling me yesterday. He said, he's based in Atlanta. He said that Dr. Pule and his father went to the same school. I was like, oh, wow. That could be very interesting. So maybe let me allow Mr. Daka to just share a little bit of his take before we dive into the politics of the nation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr. Daka.
Actually, before that, there was one time, right? There's another funny story. So there is one time where I lived in Lusaka West. So this is in the 90s. And there was a house there. And they used to tell us, Paja, Nipa Dani Pule. I never met him. Did you have a house in Lusaka West? But I never actually could prove that it was your house.
Yes, actually, I had a farm there. And I used to rear chicken, a poultry farm.
And that's so funny because there was a small village near your farm. And I lived in that small village. And we would go for Dani Pule to go pick eggs.
Right. Wow.
So
Small
it is
world.
really my pleasure to actually get to see you in person here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daka.
My pleasure.
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
So is it Hillcrest I went with your dad?
Yes, yes. My father is Lucas Daka. Maybe he was behind you or ahead you, but he used to tell us stories about you. Yeah.
He must be a genius to have gone to Hillcrest. No wonder you produce a genius of a sign like yourself. God bless you.
I'll believe that and run with it.
Indeed.
Amen.
Welcome. Pleased to meet you on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Well, those of you Zambia who are watching with us, we are now starting with issues that are affecting the nation as we discuss with Dr. Dan Pule, as he will be shedding more light. Today, I know that Professor Pule has had a very hectic day, and we are grateful that he can come and share with us some highlights of what is happening. Before we get to Tonse, let's talk about your political party, sir. How is Christian Democratic Party doing?
Thank you very much. First of all, as you mentioned, today has been a very special day. In Tonse Alliance, we were receiving nominations for the chairmanship and therefore presidential candidate. I filed in my nomination as one of the two candidates for chairmanship and the presidential candidate in the forthcoming general elections. So it's been hectic. By the way, we're holding our Congress in right at the end of this month, which will be 31st January, right here in Lusaka. Excuse me.
All right. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that, Professor Pule.
I'm sorry about that, indeed. So that is what happened today. It's been busy. And so we are grateful for the opportunity to come and discuss important national issues. You asked about how the Christian Democratic Party is doing. Christian Democratic Party is alive and well. The party was created we registered the party in 2013. And shortly after that, unfortunately, we lost our great president, Mr. Michael Sata, and therefore there was a presidential by-election in which we participated as a party, and I was a presidential candidate that participated in those elections. Of course, as you know, we didn't win. We were new, excuse me, as a political party, but we did participate. The very following year, in 2016, we supported the Patriotic Front candidate and the PF. Some of our members actually participated as candidates, and he won. We continue to support him even in 2021. However, we believe that time has come for us as a party to field our candidate in the forthcoming presidential elections, presidential and general elections. Excuse me. The party held its Congress or convention last month, and I was elected as presidential. I was re-elected as the president of the party, and the party did authorize me to run as a presidential candidate in the forthcoming presidential elections. That is the reason why I took the step to aspire to be chairman and presidential candidate for our alliance, the Tonse Alliance. I'm actually in Tonse. I'm not new to Tonse. I was the original or the founding chairman of the alliance. But of course, we had a plan that we were going to field our late president, President Edgar Lungu, may so rest in peace, and I handed over the chairmanship of the alliance, and I became the vice chairman of the alliance. I am now the interim chairman of the Tonse Alliance. So that's the background. I thought I could answer your question by also including what's happening in the alliance.
As Dr. Pule, we want to also let you know that on this platform, we speak any language because here we say komboni kumayadi, meaning that we are picking people from Mayadi, speaking to the people in the compounds, because forever vote and forever mukomboni. And we know that Mayadi. So the people, they always would want to know, Dr. Pule, it seems he's having a network challenge on his side. Okay, let's wait for Dr. Pule. Yes, so the question that I want to bring to Dr. Pule now is that the people would want to know that, yes, they have a political party. They are part of Tonse, all right? Yes, I see Apostle is on the other gadget. Let me remove the other one. All right. Okay, let me remove the other one so that, yes. So, Mkwai, I was trying to say this for Professor that if forever kwatabantu bamkomboni bale fokuishwa, because if it pa mu alliance fingi the formation of Tonse, in which you have highlighted that you were the chairperson and then later on handed over to the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, may his soul rest in peace. So we people want to know, there was this conversation we have had that the president of who will be filled in must come from the Patriotic Front. Therefore, twalimona kwe bati ba given Lubinda balangati eba president Tonse, because balungu bali ni president. Then now tumona futi that Professor Dr. Dan Pule na boli baleti ni president. Can you help us understand if we are mkomboni, if we needed to fishwe and we want to know, so that we know what we are doing? Mkwai.
Total Mkwai. Tonse was formed in August 2023. The initial plan was that our candidate was going to be President Eddie Kalungu. And that was before even the court decisions were made to bar him from contesting the presidential elections, which was a sad development. However, we still continue to believe that something would happen, that the government might change its position and allow President Ed Kalungu to contest as our candidate. However, that was not to be because our dear president left us in June last year, and as you are aware, is not yet buried. There are legal issues that are going on, and we trust that that matter will be resolved sooner rather than later. So because of that, we did say that the presidential candidate will come from the Patriotic Front. And indeed, the Patriotic Front signed up to join Tonse Alliance. Tonse Alliance was formed before the Patriotic Front joined. That's why they came to join afterwards, because it was in existence. I was the interim chairman. I am the one that actually signed what we called the terms of reference, that which were conditions which the Patriotic Front put forward. One of those was that the presidential candidate will come from the Patriotic Front. It also added, to be honest, the fact that if President Lungu would not stand, the presidential candidate for 2026 would come from the Patriotic Front. Further, the Patriotic Front held the 50% leadership position within the alliance. There was within the alliance we had the Council of Leaders, Tonse Council of Leaders, which is the executive committee of the alliance, and the number comprised 30 members, and 15 of those were to come from the Patriotic Front as the anchor party. However, over time, we felt as members that the dynamics had changed, and that the Patriotic Front would not continue to hold the lion's share in terms of leadership, and at the same time that since our preferred candidate that we wanted was no more with us, we needed also to review the arrangement regarding the presidential candidate. And of course, the Patriotic Front themselves came up with an idea that instead of, as an alliance, instead of being governed by a constitution, we should actually sign a memorandum of understanding. And that memorandum of understanding was actually drafted by State Counsel Chifumu Banda, which had proposed a number of changes, including doing away with the anchor party concept, as well as opening up the role of, the presidential position within the alliance. So that is what we were in the process of doing. While we were about to conclude the memorandum of understanding, our friends from the Patriotic Front came back and said, no, we shouldn't go to the memorandum of understanding. We should just amend the constitution. And that meeting, which was to have decided on and concluded on the memorandum of understanding, was cut short, and there was a suggestion that we should meet on the 20th of January to resolve the issues regarding the amendments to the Constitution. Now, it was during that time that we felt as an alliance that we were being held back by the Patriotic Front faction, that was the Patriotic Front faction that was led by Mr. Honorable Given Lubinda as president. And therefore, some of our members, actually 4 civil society, came up with a petition that to amend the Constitution, to remove the Patriotic Front as the anchor party, as well as open up the presidential race to other members of the council, of the alliance. The problem was the Patriotic Front felt that they were the only ones that would provide the presidential candidate. As a result of that, initially we had given them a deadline, which was the end of November last year, to come up with a candidate so that we will move forward as an alliance and have our presidential candidate known. But because of the squabbles within that faction of the Patriotic Front that was led by Honorable Lubinda, we couldn't move forward. There was now talk of perhaps the Patriotic Front holding their convention as late as April this year, and the members were upset with that arrangement. So a petition was raised, and on the basis of the petition, because of the agents of the petition, remember this, that the alliance was losing members. We lost members like the People's Pact, the Green Party, with their chairman, President Peter Sinkamba, and also we lost the UBZ party because of those same indecision and problems that were going on in the Patriotic Front. And we felt that as an alliance, we needed to make some drastic decisions. And we decided we are not going to wait for the 20th of January to decide on the petition. Some of the issues, of course, were those which were included in the petition. And we called a virtual meeting. And before that, we had held a couple of virtual meetings with similar notices. And that virtual meeting was to be held last week on Tuesday. And the most important aspect was that we decided the meeting was going to be held at 16 hours. However, because of the by-election in Chawama, some of our members felt that that time was not suitable. We needed to postpone the meeting. However, instead of postponing the meeting to another day, we changed the time from 16 hours to 18 hours. Okay, and the program took. I mean, the virtual meeting took place. Now, here is the point that needs to be remembered, because some people said that meeting was illegally convened. Illegal. That meeting was illegal. That meeting was properly convened. We had agreed in the process. It's again a long story, because during the time that President Lungu, I want to digress a bit, was hospitalized in South Africa, I remained as acting chairman of the alliance. And we held a couple of meetings. President Lubinda, our acting president of the PF, was present, and he sat in the meeting under my chairmanship. However, I needed some medical attention as well, and so I traveled to India. And during that time, there was a vacuum in leadership, and so there were those who felt they could elect a leader according to the Constitution. For each meeting, every time the alliance met, they could choose one of them to act as chairman, which is part of the Constitution. However, with the wisdom of the late President, President Lubinda was appointed to act as a chairman. When I returned from India, there was a group that felt I am the right chairman, person to act as chairman, being the vice chairman of the alliance. And President Lubinda and a number of the PF people, they felt that he should continue to be the, the acting chairman until President Lungu came back to Zambia. Okay, because when I came back, President Lungu was still with us. However, during that time, President Lungu left us, and that's a known fact. However, the party, the alliance was divided. There was one very strong group that felt that President Lubinda needed to hand over the leadership of the alliance to me as the acting chairman. However, President Lubinda didn't want to do that. He came to see me with a couple of leaders, one from the alliance, another one from the Patriotic Front Central Committee. They came to my house one Sunday evening, actually the Sunday following the death of our president. And we discussed the issue. My proposal to him was, instead of fighting over this, let's just become co-chairmen. We can lead the alliance together. However, he didn't like the idea. He didn't like the idea, and therefore the problems continued of division. That was one group led by, I should mention, President Sean Tembo and Zuman, that failed. I needed to take, and Mr. KBF, and State Council Banda was part of that group that felt that legally I should be the acting chairman of the alliance. However, the Patriotic Front group equally being the anchor party with 15 or 50% of the members of the council felt that President Lubinda should continue to act as chairman. However, because of those divisions, the Patriotic Front appointed President Peter Sinkamba and Professor Emmanuel Nkhoma to work on the reconciliation of the within the alliance. They came to see me, and I proposed to them that what would happen was I was myself, I felt I didn't belong to either of the two groups. Because if I had decided to push the agenda of the group that felt I was the chairman, we could have had serious division, okay? We would have had a convention way back, other than this time, the delayed one. So I suggested to them, I will be the person that will bring the two groups together. I will speak to President Lubinda and Mr. Honorable Nakachinda, who is the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front. Then I will speak to Sean Tembo and the other group. However, what happened was, with the day we decided I decided to meet with in private with President Lubinda. President Sean Tembo held a meeting with the others, at which they virtually appointed a lot of people to be leaders in the alliance. And I was not consulted, though they considered me the acting chairman. They just invited me at the end to go and chair that particular meeting. And I decided not to go. And I didn't go to that meeting, by the way, not on the same day. That is a week earlier. Now, when we were working on the reconciliation, that's when this other meeting took place, at which they announced other members of the Council of Leaders. And when they saw me with President Lubinda and Mr. Nakachinda, they felt that I had betrayed that group. They literally removed me even from the group, and they didn't want to talk to me. And the other group felt we needed to hold a press conference at which we should explain the position of the the other faction together with myself. However, before that press conference, we had agreed in a consultative meeting that from that moment on, we were going to co-chair the meetings. And so all the other meetings that were being held by the Alliance, we were co-chairing those meetings, including the one at which we adopted the FDD as our vehicle for the elections, which we won as the elections in Chawama, which by the grace of God, we won comfortably that by-election. By the way, we are hoping as the Alliance that we are going to win the Kasama mayoral elections that will take place next week. In the same way we won the Chawama by-election. And of course, during the by-election is when we felt there were some changes that needed agents, agent decisions, and that we were not going to be held at ransom by the Patriotic Front. Before that meeting, by the way, another virtual meeting was called, at which the Patriotic Front came back to us to change the decision we had made to allow, to use the FDD as our vehicle in Kasama for by-election. They had proposed in the previous meeting at which the FDD was again accepted as was adopted as our vehicle in Kasama. They had proposed that we should allow the Socialist Party, the SP, to be our vehicle in Kasama. Many of us within the Council of Leaders rejected that idea because the Socialist Party were not members of the Alliance. We had members of the Alliance that could be fielded, and that's when we adopted again the FDD to be our vehicle for Kasama. However, behind my back and others, President Lubinda called a meeting with President Chifung Banda from the FDD. FDD, yes. Together with that meeting was attended by Mr. Kambwiri, President Mwamba of UNIP, and it was held at President Mwamba's home. And there was also the president of the Socialist Party, President Timembe. Now, they wanted to prevail on State Council Chifumu Banda to let his party step aside so that the Socialist Party can be the alliance vehicle. President Banda, with the wisdom, the Easterners have wisdom, abadaka, kulivanzelu imwe, kwaliva amano sana kuchipata. So, ku Eastern Province. So, valele abati bane, if you watch that, teti insumini sheneka. For the FDD Ukuba special purpose vehicle for Kasama mayoral election, the decision was made by the Council of Leaders. We have to go back to the Council of Leaders. And therefore, a virtual meeting was held again overnight. Notice was given overnight by the same gentleman who called for the other meeting, Mr. Zumani, Dr. Zumani. So we held the virtual meeting at which that idea was rejected. Now, what happened was before we could conclude, that meeting was prematurely closed by President Lubinda, and he exited the virtual meeting. However, I was the other co-chair. The meeting still continued. I said we still have the quorum. The quorum for the for any alliance Council of Leaders meeting was 15 people, 15 members of the council. In other words, if the Patriotic Front wanted to hold a Council of Leaders meeting with their 15 members, they could easily do that. However, the meeting was still going on. So as chairman who remained in the meeting, I directed that there will be no such meeting the following day at 9 hours as was proposed. And therefore that meeting didn't take place. And we continued with the the FDD as our special purpose vehicle in Kasama. Now, what
All right.
upset our members
Chief
even more?
Apostle,
Let
I
me
know you
finish
have
this
spoken
one.
quite. Yes, I
Yeah.
wanted you to take a bit of a breather on that, but wind up on that history. Then we come back to the questions. Yes, Chief Apostle, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Let me just wind up quickly. So what happened was within 2 days, the special purpose vehicle that the Patriotic Front wanted, they entered into an alliance with the People's Pact and those members who left the alliance. And the members felt that that decision to push the socialist angle to be our special purpose vehicle was not done in good faith, and that the Patriotic Front was actually hindering our progress. And since we had that petition, we felt that we should hold the meeting. So that meeting at which the Patriotic Front was removed as the special purpose vehicle, which was held at 18 hours, was actually attended by some of the Patriotic Front leaders, including the national chairperson, Madam Jean Kapata. There were others, non-government, a civil society organization who attended that rally, like Ibrahim Mwamba is a very active member of the alliance, attended that. And then we also had 4 MPs. I can mention Honorable Brian Munduvile, Honorable Mutotwe Kafaya, Honorable George Chisanga, and Honorable Kampiongo. They attended that meeting, including the former Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Mr. Amwila. He attended that meeting. So that meeting was well attended. We had 23 people out of the 30 Alliance Council of Leaders members. And the decision was made. We were not going to entertain the Patriotic Front anymore because they had brought confusion. In fact, I can tell you this, that all the time, since the death of President Lungu, all the time we held meetings, we never made progress. No strategic decisions were made. So everything was being held. We couldn't progress. So we felt that we needed to move forward. Hence the decision to actually remove the Patriotic Front. They were no longer to be from the council. They were no longer to be the anchor party. And the presidential candidate was to come from any other any member of the council of Tonse Alliance was qualified now to participate in the presidential race and the chairmanship. So basically, that is, I felt I needed to brief you on that one.
Yes. Wow. Viewers, those of you that are watching on different platforms, what a great history that we have had about the Tonse Alliance and what is happening by the founding chairman himself, Professor Chief Apostle Dr. Dan Pule, sharing with us the whole history. If you have a time fishe ba PF at the ya progress, so but when they met at 18 hours, everybody that is zwa ba tamfia ba PF. Everybody, according to Professor Dr. Dan Pule, in order for them to progress, they said, Awe, these guys are delaying us. They had to chase them. But we have heard them saying that is an illegal group. Anyway, let me, before I bring in Mr. Daka to bring his questions as well to Chief Apostle, let's play a short clip of what was happening today. And they gathered, I believe it should be at Dunamis, where the whole procession was going on. Let's just have a look at that quickly.
We have just successfully managed CDF President, Professor Dr. Dan Pule, who was the CDP. He has officially filed in his nomination as presidential candidate for Tonse. Allow me to welcome Honorable Mundubire, who is also coming here to successfully filing his nomination. So we are democratic as Tonse. So we now welcome you to file it.
We want to assure the Zambians that my brother and I, we have undertaken to each other that whoever wins shall support the other.
Yes.
That's correct.
That's very correct. That's very correct. We sat in a meeting, the two of us, a week ago, and agreed that we're going to compete, but whoever emerges victorious, the other will support. And we remain committed to that.
Exactly.
That's the democracy that we chose. So Manga Mawina, I'll be the first one to raise your hand. And our winner,
Professor Pule.
Thank you.
All right, that was what was happening today at the Tonse Alliance, led by Professor Dr. Dan Pule, the chief apostle himself. He's with us. Over to you, Mr. Daka. Bafunse ni makonjo.
All right. Yeah, the mic. Again, thank you so much, Chief Apostle Dan Pule. At some point, I would want you to explain your titles. I get confused. I would like to explain Chief Apostle, there's a professor, there's a doctor, and so I would like to explain that. But Apostle, based on your rendition and your explanation of what's happening in Tonse, it is very concerning, especially that we have hope, right, in the leadership that is there now, you and your colleagues. We are hopeful that you would help rectify the issues that are going on in the country, like the impasse of the burial of Edgar Lungu, right? That needs leadership. Now, from what you've explained, if you cannot agree or in a simple, maybe 1 hour meeting, how can you influence like a burial of a former president? Now, it kind of speaks volume of how all these things are happening, right? There's leadership failure there. And it is because, I think, of pride, right? It's kind of like you explained, you were in a hospital and somebody had to take over. But then it became an issue when they had to hand over the power to you so you can continue running the Tonse Alliance. So it is about pride, and it's very concerning because of this, we haven't buried the former president. Bill 7 passed, which essentially just put the country into like a dictatorship. Because of course there's no what they call tamuli goli mugo. Tamuli goli. We are thinking there's a goli to prevent all these things, but there's infighting. Right, the issue of load shedding, right, the prices of food, right, they're rising. Meanwhile, there's this fighting. Now, it feels like, you know, you're a student and then the exam is coming near, but then you haven't studied, right? That's how it feels like with this election, because now we have to speed up, right, choose a leader, and then hopefully that leader qualifies. Now, a few questions that I have is, what political party did Honorable Munduvile use? Because I think Tonse is an alliance of political parties. If PF is not part of it, and we know Mr. Honorable Mduwile is PF. So what political party? Did he come in as an individual? If so, are individuals allowed to come in, right? In their own capacity? That's the first question. The second thing I would want to help alleviate the fears. We are afraid because the current government has pretty much been decimating and destroying the opposition. They've been creating police or criminal cases, right? I think I read that they have they're trying to dress you with a seditious charge, right? And I'm thinking, from where I'm looking at, strategically looking, I may think maybe they are planning, if you have traction as a leader of the Tonse, if they see that you are capable of removing them, they can just continue hitting you with that seditious practice, and then we won't have a candidate in the end. I think I hear rumors about Mundubire. They say there's things they're planning about him. These are not like official things, but there are things in the pipeline that are targeting the opposition. The opposition, what are you doing, right, to ensure that you have a name on the ballot for the Tonse? And lastly, is Tonse a registered entity in Zambia? Is it registered with the Registrar of Society? I thank you.
Thank you very much for those questions. Let me clarify one point you raised. The squabbles or divisions within the alliance is not what is responsible for not barring our late president. You alluded to that issue, that because of these squabbles, His Excellency has not been barred. I believe what you probably could have been referring to is that the opposition may not have spoken with a strong, concerted voice to ensure that our president, late president, is barred. As you know, that is been beyond us. As Tonse, we supported obviously the family of our late chairman, that the decision they took to want to bury him in South Africa was something that we supported because of to honor the wishes of the late president. However, I felt I needed to explain that it is what has delayed the burial of our former president is the legal issues that have been raised by when the president was about to be buried. The government, through the Attorney General, took an injunction to make sure that that didn't happen. They wanted him to be buried here in Zambia. And the rest is history. That court case is still going on. And today it's almost 6.5 months, actually almost 7.5 months, close to 7.5 months, our president hasn't been buried. So it's a sad development, and we pray that by the grace of God, the family and the government, they'll come up with some agreement so that our president's remains can be brought back to Zambia. Now, you asked a very important question as to which political party did Mr. Mundubile use to come to the alliance to be a presidential candidate. Indeed, that has raised some controversies with one of our members who didn't want Mr. Mundubile to come to be a presidential candidate, and as a result, they have not filed their nomination. I may not have to say much about that, except I would explain that in the constitution of the alliance, the organization that is recognized in the body of it is not the Patriotic Front, but the ECL Patriotic Front Political Movement, ECL-PF Political Movement. And that is the organization that was given the 15 members and basically the Patriotic Front Party faction that was led by Mr. Given Lubinda was riding on that provision, because even the anchor party provision did not reflect in the constitution to relate to a patriotic front party, the faction that was led by Mr. Honorable Lubinda. It was referring to the ECL movement, that Israel Patriotic Front movement, that was introduced by President Lungu. His idea, first of all, President Lungu was very, very clear about the fact that the Patriotic Front was lost to the UPND or the government, and that the Patriotic Front would never field a candidate in the next forthcoming elections or any by-elections, because they had lost the legal status that belongs to Mr. Chavinga and others who have formed an alliance with the UPND. What we remained with was the faction that was fighting legal battles with Mr. Chavinga, that was causing confusion within the alliance. So here we go. The understanding was that what we were dealing with was not the Patriotic Front, but in the alliance, but the ECL, PF,
the ECL movement.
Yes, the ECL movement.
So, Professor, I wanted just to, sorry to interject, Professor, I wanted just to ask just a technical question there. So you are saying Brian Mundubire has filed in from the ECL movement?
That's what I was coming to. Because when we removed the Patriotic Front from the alliance, we recognized the ECL political, so the ECL PF movement. Now, the ECL political movement comprises all the supporters of the late president, including former cabinet ministers, members of parliament, past and present, members of the Central Committee, past and present, councillors, mayors and council chairmen, and all members and leaders of the Patriotic Front that were loyal and support the vision of President Eddie Kalungu. So that component of the Patriotic Front is still very much with us. And we decided to reduce the representation of the ECL political movement from 15 members to 7 members. And at the Congress that will be held next weekend, which is 31st January, they will come with 7 multiplied by 3. That is the formula we are using. For example, CDP, my party, which was the founder member political party of together with others, is entitled to have 4 members in the Council of Leaders, and multiplied 4 by 3, we will take 12 members to the Congress. Okay, I can explain the others, but that's a long story. So the Mundu.
I want just to, Mr. President, I want just to, on the same very important matter that you have raised and clarified here about the ECL PF movement, which has been accepted in, yet the PF Mwaliba Tamfia. Now, within the ranks of the Patriotic Front, if people like Honorable Makebi Zulu, who we know that, for example, that Makebi Zulu, I don't think that Honorable Mundubire was so close to ECL. So if people like Honorable Makebi Zulu wants to file in through the Tonse, what criteria did they use to choose who has to come to Tonse as PF movement? What criteria? Do you have an idea of the criteria and the chairperson of the PF movement is using? Or Alessalafiaba Nankwe? How is it? How is it?
Indeed. Firstly, Honorable Makebi Sulu is a very respected public figure, politician, and statesman. I love him as a person. I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago to just chat with him and discuss politics. The only thing is he was not part of the Council of Leaders of that represented the Patriotic Front in the alliance, and therefore he did not attend any of the council of the alliance, the Council of Leaders meetings, and I don't think any effort has been made by him to work with the alliance at this point. Of course, at any given time, he will be very much welcome. One way he could have come into the alliance was he could have joined the alliance as, an eminent person. We have several eminent personalities who are members, individual members of the alliance, and any of those do qualify, or he would have qualified if he had become a member at that time. But up to now, he has not yet come as a member. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the Patriotic Front MPs were included among the 7, including Mr. Mundubire, Mr. Mtotweka Fire, Honorable Mtotweka Fire, Honorable Kampiongo, Honorable Sanga, George Sanga, and Mr. Davis Mwila are those who identified themselves with the alliance and attended the alliance. You may be aware that Mr. Honorable Mundubire has actually been suspended by the Patriotic Front leadership because he attended. One of the reasons was he attended our meeting, and therefore he has been really part of the group. The particular member I mentioned that has protested against Mr. Mundubire coming, as well as the 21 members of the ECL movement coming to the Congress, objected to that. He didn't want Mr. Mundubire to come. Okay, maybe he felt he didn't have the numbers. I don't know other reasons to win, because if one is organized and is confident that he stands a chance of winning, he would come and file the nomination for chairmanship. However, the nomination for chairmanship closed, and the vice chairman closed today at 18 hours. The nomination day was today, and 18 hours, they were waiting. Other than those who came, I mentioned the 5 who filed their nominations, including myself and Honorable Brian Mundubire, Honorable Chifungu Bandas and Dr. Zuman for first chairman, vice chairman, and a lady, Madam Exuda Mwenya, who is the president of the New Era Democratic Party, filed a nomination for second vice chairperson, and she actually went unopposed, and she's already elected as our second vice chairperson. So coming to the question, I hope that your question has been answered. The reason why.
So KBF did not file in. KBF did not file in.
No, he did not file in. He didn't come.
But still remains a member of Tonse?
Sorry?
But he still remains a member of Tonse?
As far as we know, he's still a member of Tonse. There are other political parties who didn't file in. Okay? I can give you, for example, the Congress party, Mr. Musoni, Nason Musoni. He didn't file in, but he's very much part of us. You saw there President Cosmo Mumba welcoming Honorable Brian Mundubire as he was coming to file in the clip you showed. He didn't file in. The filing in was, participation is by the decision of those members who wanted to participate as members, as candidates in the alliance. The second question, you asked the 3 questions. I would prefer you ask 1 question, then I answer so that I don't get distracted. Don't forget the other question. What's the next question?
Well, before we go to the next question, Mr. President, I want you to take a bit of water and then we'll be wrapping up. But as you are going to take a last commercial break, for those of you that are joining us, you know, Professor Dan Pule, one of the things that you need to respect him for, is a great man of God. Now, we want to play one video based on the Chawama by-elections. And one of the leaders who I believe Dr. Pule might know very well, and we're going to ask the questions from there based on what was happening in Chawama. And let's play this video. It's a bit, maybe 4 minutes video. Please stay glued as we have Dr. Danny Pule as he speaks to us, the chairperson or the interim chairperson of Tonse. They have filed in today. The boy is ready to be, the whistle is ready to be blown, and running is about to start. Let's go and watch this video.
Pali ba UPND Alliance candidate ba Munda mchinsali Munda numala mukwai chikala mbeto twaendela kwisa mkumukosha bambi muleipusha nomba ba mumba mwaisa shali mulili lyashe MMD yatwaleita at MMD twalichinja nomba di New Nation Party NNP. NNP yaikatana pamo na UPND ukuombela pamo mpaka tukawine 2026 mu August. Atwa balekele na mfelipa nono kuti balepema no kupema mpaka tuwawina. Kanshi luno lubilo lwayamba nomba kuno ku Chawama. Ero tule konka nyapo mpaka August. Na tuwawina kuno nishmaishwa na ku August tule ya wino. Chakwe shokulusa ino election. I want to be clear. The battle here in Chawama is between the UPND Alliance candidate Munda against confusion. So, the UPND Alliance candidate against confusion. Mwebena Chawama. Ushecho mwalasa lapo pabuya ntanshi uli muri Munda na UPND Alliance elo na confusion ichifulunganya fishi mwalasa la Munda National Land Light chifulunganya twaliwewe lyaba nensu aba mao political parties yambi yo twayamba nomba uka twapanga uka alliance yamapo opposition political party yonse twaliwewe lyatimu okuitema mwaitemo chikabongoloka Adio nebasi walitema ifya kusososa fuma apanati na leka mkwae mkaimwena kuntachu se ukepo yaba wati oke fila nebasi hala ndile limbiali lufienye na tupange lomba Tonse wapanga Tonse bonse waikala pamo mpaka Tonse ya toba ikamushe Tonse po yaba na ngufyecho wenga panga maino na chochine chikatoweka uku itemwa kwa lichilamo kuya kuwa nenso elonga naba filo kuikata na pamo mu political organization wakaisa leta shani chalo chonse cha abantu 20 million pamo naba filo tabeshwe nunda batungulula na kaliayo ndefa elitule ya mukuvota. Let it be a referendum. Ukulanda utabena Zambia, we are not interested muriashi mfya kula chusha abena Zambia mumone kupeta uke mwaibu kushokutila batonse baile kwa kupeta uke baikata na pamo political parties yabengi ukuisa imina against UPND wawina no kuina ulia candidate wa wine wapali NCP National Congress Party over bomfeshe nombe ili bato ba wike na ula wine candidate ba votele chimotelo tikubaona wile fe vote pa nomba bale iluisha elo bale ruila pa chitumbi nchatala mleko election over bomfyo muntu wafwa uyu political faction yaranda tifo ni balungu ebale tutangirira kutufuira mutangirira shani chawama mwewe ne mwasala pakati paba sheri abalelola teba fini omba kuli ama factions yabili kuno bambi balanda tifo ni balungu ebale tukampenera nabati balungu ebale tukampenera nabafiro okusuminishanya use election mulefa mubapele ya msangwe ulia candidate uwa winine pa NCP kulia kupeta uke nomba alikyo wafulungana teshibe nomba walebombera nani tatwawekeshemo kunochona kalyayo. Let us give victory to the UPND Alliance candidate Munda this coming Thursday. Because on this side there is unity. Tulebombera pamo na tuikatana ndefa ya bena Zambia choose ukuikatana pamo na unity instead ya chimfulunganya ichili kuba nensu. So this is a clear election. It's a clear election. Aba lefa ya confusion ukupotela confusion usemba wafotela confusion ishinawata wapa confused bantunga lifyo mutu tontonga nyabwino kuti wabeba atibane imwe ba ukana mponi ba Tonse na nguli ba PF first muikatane mkwati amano mutulange ntungulushi yenu noko mule tutwala elo twala muvotela noma notu kuvotela confusion ukuti elo chibeshaki elo mukata produce a confused candidate and MP because teshibe bawishi teshibe banyina bawishi na banyina balalwa elo mwaranda ati niwewo MP aka muwombela kuna kucha wama. So we have come here to encourage you to be sober. Elo ifo.
Wow. Those of you that are watching, those were the words of another great man of God. Bashima pepo batiro kwebati batonse mwali furungana, meaning that if you were rechta fya chimfurunganyo. Today we are hosting Dr. Professor Chief Apostle Dr. Dan Pule. He's with us in the studio right now, joining us virtually, and we have been asking him questions, and he has been explaining vividly. Share the page, share the broadcast, invite someone to tune in. We have been told that Honorable Brian Mundubile has filed in from the ECLPF movement, not from the Patriotic Front. We have also asked the Chief Apostle, Boucher, what criteria are they using to be members of the ECLPF? Maybe Balubinda has a chance to get back to PF by coming in from the PF, the ECLPF movement, because I believe given Lubinda was close to Edgar Chagwalungu. I believe Honorable Makebi Zulu was close to Edgar Chagwalungu. But we have also been told that Ngolefo join a Tonse, which is being led by Watata Bashkof Pule. You can join as an eminent person. We have also been told that there are a number of leaders who have filed in, and some of the leaders are like Honorable Chifumo Banda of the FDD State Council. We have also seen Chief Apostle himself, Dr. Dan Pule, has filed in. Honorable Mundubile has filed in, and a number of other leaders are filed in, and we have seen that they were welcoming each other and talk about how democratic they are. Dr. Pule lifted up the hand of Mundubile, says, if you win, I will support you. And Mundubile said, Bakalamba bandina ine ngamawina, I will support you. Dr. Nevas Mumba has said, Bachimfurunganyo. Then he also said, Ngamwavotera abafurungana nishina imwe mwali furungana. That is what Dr. Nevas Mumba has said. 3 things, and quickly I will bring back my guests right now and ask Dr. Pule some of the intricacies of what is happening in Tonse. Before I do that, Mr. Daka, how are you thinking about this video? I want you just one comment, then I ask some few questions, because this will be our wrapping up discussions, and I think we're not going to spend much time. We want to finish in the next 10 minutes at exactly 30:30. So, Mr. Daka, your thoughts about the video of Dr. Nevas Mumba?
Yeah, actually, I want to thank the Professor, Chief Apostle Dan Pule. Actually, most of the questions I had were answered even before I asked them, because as he was giving his long answers, it's kind of like he's a prophet. So most of the questions were answered. But as it is, I'm still concerned and about the Tonse Alliance. And the one question I'd asked is, who has the Lugwalo? Like Chavinga has the Lugwalo, right? So who has the paperwork at the Register of Society for Tonse? And then it seems like you will be using purpose vehicles, right? Like different political party based on the candidate and all that stuff. If you could explain the plan, because that's where the confusion will be, because these politicians, these political parties, they all think they are presidents, right? So now you have to convince them, I'm going to use your political party, but you're part of Tonse. So could you explain the plan on how which political parties you use in the general election? Now, you want me not to combine the questions, but I'll add one last question, because I know the doctor won't allow me to come back. I want you, because when I was young, I said I lived in your neighborhood, right? And I used to come get eggs at your farm. And so and this was way back in the late 90s. So I want you to kind of like speak to the farmers who have not been paid for their whatever they gave to the government in the last season. Because already I see the pictures, like the maize is like right here in my waist. It's almost like getting ripe. But these people are still complaining about their money. So I'd like you to speak about that. And I think I'll end right here. Those are my only few questions.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me give it over to Professor just to respond.
Thank you very much. Firstly, you asked me how I became a professor, and you wanted that background, the chief apostle. As has been mentioned, I am a man of God. I've been preaching the gospel now for over 48 years. In fact, the man you saw, Dr. Nevas Mumba, by the way, was together with me with your dad at Hillcrest. Did you know that? Yes, very good. And Dr. Mumba was one of my spiritual sons. While I was in Hillcrest, we preached the gospel together after that. Of course, he became more of a public preacher than myself. Sometimes children can advance far beyond their contemporaries, and he had the program Zambia Must Be Saved. I still love him, and he's my dear brother in the Lord, my young man. However, he said something about the elections in Chawama. I'm glad he called it a referendum. We politicians have to be careful what we speak. If that was a referendum, then the people of Chawama have spoken, not only for now, but for the future, that they want change and they want the Tonse Alliance. That to show you that Tonse is a popular movement, contrary to what he was saying, that the confusion is finished. Tonse is not finished. We are here and we are going nowhere. We shall be there on 13 August 2026. Whoever shall win, I can assure you, shall be our presidential candidate in August. I hope it is me. and I will be there. I'll not look back. I will field my candidature. Now, we won because Tonse is still very strong and very popular. NCP, that left and fielded someone they thought was popular, those are the people who are claiming also the support of President Lungu. Was saying they are claiming the leadership of fighting over the dead man. Well, NCP lost badly. They had less than 400 votes. Our candidate had 8,500 votes, 8,050 votes, compared to the UPND candidate who had 6,500. For the referendum, that spoke volumes. However, one thing I want to say for 2026 is that we believe in the politics of peace, not violence, not insults, and not hate. As a CDP, Christian Democratic Party, we believe in respecting the president. For example, what happened in Chingola, I don't condemn that, where they were stoning the president's meeting and the party there and so forth. No leader worth of leadership can condone violence like that. We don't want that. We don't want political cadres, harming each other. We are a peaceful political party. Now, let me before I answer the question on the farmers. Now, let me answer the farmers. The difference with us is that we shall ensure that farmers are paid on time. It is very sad. We are giving ideas to the government what they should do. Already, I mentioned, for example, the gold situation in the country. We have so much gold in this country, but the nation is not benefiting from that. It's the foreigners. A week ago, yesterday, actually, no, today, it was on Thursday last week. I was speaking on the hot seat. I said what we'll do. We shall form a gold corporation. We shall remove all the foreigners. Today, they have announced that the army has moved in to remove illegal miners. Okay, I meant to remove the foreigners, not the Zambians. The Zambians should be encouraged to work under the cooperatives as Zambians. We want Zambians to participate in mines. Zambians must participate in mines. Okay. Now, we didn't talk much about our economic policies or what I believe in myself. The Tonse is yet to conclude our manifesto, but we know the main issues. We shall make sure we subsidize milling meal. I believe in that. I know how that shall be done. I served in your government, you Zambians, as your deputy minister of finance, in charge of the budget. I know how we can subsidize milling meal without affecting the economic development. Even if the IMF will be there under our government, we will ensure that the subsidies are there. They will have to work with us. Okay, we want to work with them, and they have to work with us. And one of those things is to make sure that we fight poverty and making sure that Zambians' cost of living is affordable, including milling meal. Okay, so the farmers will be paid on time. We know how that can be done, and it can be done. I was, as I mentioned, for over 8 years, your minister, deputy minister of finance. I also, by the way, served as minister of planning in charge of National Development Commission, NCDP. I was in charge of donor aid and economic planning. I was reporting for 2 years to the president of Zambia before that ministry was combined with the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance became the Ministry of Planning. So basically, those are I just needed to mention that. I know how we can handle the economic situation in the country. Zambia is not a poor country. Zambia is a very rich country. Where is the money from gold? Okay, we have huge deposits of gold, but you find in Mpika, most of the people who are mining gold there are Tanzanians. The same thing with if you went, and there is a huge presence of illegal people and mining gold. There are over 40,000 are in the field. Today on the ZNBC News clip that I heard, they talked about Congo or some place where there is mining of gold. 50,000 people are there. The army has moved in. We're supporting the government to make sure that that resource is well managed and is for the good of the Zambians. We have sugerite in Luapula as part of manganese. We have lithium. Those minerals are not benefiting the Zambians. We shall make sure that we create employment through the involvement of Zambians. Of course, there is artisanal mining, and the government is doing something about that. But we shall build on that foundation and do more as Tonse Alliance in our government. Now, the last question you asked our moderator, what was that question again? I know time is running out.
All right.
What was that last question? If I answered it as I was speaking.
I am now sure that Professor Dr. Pule, I'm sure you are able to hear us. The network is bumping on his side. Mr. Kapale, can you hear Professor Pule? I'm failing to hear him.
You can. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Can you hear?
I can also hear you.
Now I think I can hear you.
Thank you.
Yes, because the network had gone bad. It was bumping.
The last question you were asking.
Anyway, yes. So my concluding question, though most of the questions you have answered them, my conclusion was, based on what the outcome that came out of Chawama, where President Dr. Nevas Mumba, who you have also clarified here that he's your church boy. In other words, he's your spiritual son. That's the word you used. He says, Mwarifurungana, you are confused. You are a bunch of confused people. And by the end of the day, he is also saying, you are confusing the nation. He has also said that if they vote for you, they vote for confusion. But lastly, he said, if the UPND lost in Chawama, it simply means what will happen in Chawama, that's what will happen on the 13th of August. Are you confident? That's my question. Are you confident as the opposition with all the drama? We will not call you confused, but we'll say the drama that is taking place. Are you convinced that you will be able to remove the UPND government?
Okay. Firstly, I've explained I was at school, Dr. Nevas Mumba. Yes, I can. Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Thank you. That I was with Dr. Nevas Mumba actually helped to lead him to the Lord in our Christian young group there in Hillcrest. Prayed for him. He got baptized in the Holy Spirit powerfully. No wonder, he still continues to serve the Lord, and has served the Lord with. He has been a great blessing. But what he said there about the referendum in Chawama, well, let the results have spoken. However, I would say that as far as we know, Tonse the problems we had, the confusion he was talking about, was being brought to Tonse by the Patriotic Front faction that is led by Honorable Given Iruvinda. that confusion is no more there. We are very focused. At the end of this month, we are going to have our elections. And I believe after that, we can come and talk together after the elections. And I'll be willing to come and address the nation through this podcast. But I can assure you that we are very united and we are very focused. We are not going to look to the left nor to the right, but we are looking forward to participate in those elections and win them. We are going to win those elections as Tonse Alliance. Now, here is the point. I know there is talk of unity in the opposition. I know the people that, as you have rightly said, there is a lot of selfishness in the opposition among politicians in this country. I do not believe that there is going to be a united front for all the political parties to field one candidate, say me, Dan Pule, because I know that the other people that I'm looking at, they all want to run, including the particular organization that is disputing the candidates within the Tonse Alliance and the number of that is coming from the ACL movement. They all want to run. I see as the Tonse Alliance, we are very focused. We are going to continue mobilizing and field one candidate, the one who's going to win. And I hope it is me that is going to win on 31st January. And the rest we will see for ourselves. I won't say much, but Dr. Nevas Mumba's idea of a confused opposition is not correct. We are not confused in Tonse. We know what is going on, and we are very united. We have undertaken, if you heard on Mundubi and myself, pledge publicly what we pledged in privacy, that whoever shall win, the other one shall support the other. I stand with that myself. Thank you very much.
Wow, 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 wow. Well, Zambia, there you have it tonight from Professor Chief Apostle Dan Pule, the president of the Christian Democratic Party and the interim chairperson. He has spoken to us volumes of what is happening within the Tonse Alliance. Well, take it or leave it. We have heard it from Dr. Pule. And he has really clarified a number of matters. There are issues that we have raised, and on Sunday this week, we feature no other than Kelvin Fubebwalia, popularly known as KBF, a member of Tonse. We want to ask him a question. Why do you not file in? We want also to ask him questions about his party and the nation and the unity within among themselves. And how are they going to move? I believe every leader has got a side. To Professor Chief Apostle Dr. Dan Pule, we want to say thank you, sir, for joining us. We really thank you. Much more, we want to wish you all the best to win those elections after filing in nomination. And as Zambians, we have got hope because we believe so much in this country called Zambia. I want to encourage all the politicians, through you, Chief Apostle, that let us put Zambia at the center. Let us drop the selfishness that we have seen. But when we put Zambia at the center, then Zambia will develop. I will end here by saying our deepest condolences to the family of the great King or chief as we are called, the paramount chief, Chiti Mukulu, who and all the royal Bemba kingdom, we want to pass our condolences. From me and my co-host, and on behalf of everybody that is here, we want to say have a blessed weekend and a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.